I never had any intention of recording this song, let alone doing a video for it. I performed the song at a gig 2 days after Neil died as my own small little humble tribute, just as a one-off, and I never performed it after that. In the coming days, when talking to a few friends and fellow musicians about Neil and about Rush, I mentioned I did this song, and they asked if I recorded it so they could hear it, or if anyone else did, and it's like, no. So now, here we are 3 years later, and just the backstory to this, which is pretty much the same experience I've heard from many other Rush fans. When I first heard the news of Neil's passing, I didn't believe it. I thought, nah, that's fake news. But shortly afterwards, I started receiving texts. My phone mildly started to blow up, and soon realized it was real. And I remember feeling like I was just punched in the gut. And as a professional musician, I've been influenced by many artists. But this was the first, quote, musical death that really hit me. It almost felt like a death in the family, which is weird. And then I started to feel weird because I felt that way about someone I've never even met personally. But in the coming days and weeks, I realized that many fans and musicians felt the same way as they were telling their reaction online. Almost every Rush fan I've ever met has the same or similar story in their fandom. And, mine's no different. I was 12 or 13 when I first heard them. Although at first I didn't really do anything for me. Like many, I probably couldn't get past the voice. Sorry, Geddy. Although in time I grew to love his voice, but not initially. And then a friend was playing Exit Stage Left, and I heard Xanadu. And I just remember being completely blown away. I never heard anything like that. Although, at the time I was getting heavily into Genesis, and it sort of reminded me of Genesis a little bit, but just heavier. And then soon after that, I recall seeing Exit Stage Left on TV. It was some late night show. It was probably Night Flight, if you're old enough to remember that show. I would stay up late and quietly listen to while everyone else was asleep. But that's when I saw Xanadu. And seeing it was a whole different experience than just hearing it. Three guys, watching three guys making all that music and live. There were no backing tracks or anything like that. And I just remember being transfixed with Neil, especially the intro to that song. He sort of reminded me of those guys that spin plates on a stick and just try to keep them going. That's what he was doing. That's what he's on the intro of that song. He has 360 with all this stuff around him, and he's keeping all these parts going. And I remember that week I went out and bought Exit Stage Left, and I played it over and over and over again. I was a fan. And I soon went on to work my way backwards through their catalog and loved every album. And then, of course, subsequently worked my way forwards as new albums would be released. The first tour I saw was Grace Under Pressure, and I saw every tour since then until the very end, except Counterparts. That was the only tour I missed. My gigging schedule at the time prevented me from seeing any of the shows in my area, any shows in Philly or New York or Baltimore or DC. But I saw every tour except that one. It's hard to put into words how Neil has influenced me as a musician and composer. But like many Rush fans, especially the musicians, I would study the drum parts of every single song on every album. I knew the drum parts inside and out, even though I wasn't a drummer. I was learning piano and guitar at the time. But I could play a little, but not technically proficient enough to sit behind a kit and play all of that. But I could play, I was picking up the grooves on, or at least parts of verses, parts of different songs. I couldn't play an entire song, beginning to end, but I remember just in my early teens, I would sit on the side of my bed and play on the bed, with my hands, or I had sticks, I'd play with sticks. And I would try to get the foot coordination as well. I remember even analog kid sticks in my head, trying to get that on the chorus of that song, that upbeat hi-hat part, got your foot doing the upbeats, your kick drum's doing something completely different, and your hands are doing, getting that. I can still remember trying to get that. And so many songs just breaking down and trying to learn the parts and hear what was going on. I don't like rating musicians. It's not a competition. It's art and it's subjective. And I love a lot of other drummers. But to me, the best drum composers were Neil and Phil Collins. They were both so musical in their parts that they created and played with so much energy and both technically very proficient. There are more drummers that are, more technically proficient than both of them. But as far as composing drum parts that so beautifully fit the song so perfectly, I can't think of anyone better on the whole. Just, collective body of work. And as a budding songwriter at that time, there was a logic to those parts. Every verse and chorus was slightly different. It would build and create momentum along the way. And, most people don't think of drummers and composers in the same sentence. But if you want a masterclass in drum composition, you have to listen to Neil. It's like this beautiful symmetry within the drum composition that absolutely shaped how I would write songs. And, of course, Neil was a master composer not only in his drum parts, but also his lyrics. And again, no one should rate best lyricists, but for my money, Neil is up there with my favorite lyricists. He's on the same pedestal as like Roger Waters, Peter Gabriel, Sting, Paul Simon, etc. There's just so much depth in his words and double and even triple meanings at times. Again, it's another masterclass. And as a writer, I can tell you it's not easy to write a great lyric. You simply can't write poetry. It doesn't work. The lyrics also have to sing well and sound nice when sung. And there's an absolute art to that. Neil's command of language was exquisite and rivaled by few. Not many can turn a phrase like he could. But anyway, I could go on and babble for hours and hours, but I'll leave it at that.
Hold your fire, keep it burning bright. Hold the flame till the dream ignites. A spirit with a vision is a dream with a mission. Missions, imaginations on fire, focused high on soaring ambitions, consumed in a single desire, in the grip of a nameless possession, a slave to the drive of obsession. A spirit with a vision is a dream with a mission. I watch their images flicker, bringing light to a lifeless screen. I walk through the beautiful buildings, and I wish I had had their dreams. But dreams don't need to have motion to keep the spark alive. Obsession has to have action. Pride turns on the drive. Spirits fly on dangerous missions, imaginations on fire, focused high on soaring ambitions, consumed in a single desire, in the grip of a nameless possession, a slave to the driving obsession. A spirit with a vision is a dream with a mission. It's cold comfort to the ones without it, to know how they struggled, how they suffered about it. If their lives were exotic alike and strange. They would likely have gladly exchanged them